Well, hi.
Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Yes.
Afternoon.
We've lost an hour, Lily, but
Yeah, that's true.
We have we're coming to you today with a little special Sally and Lily segment. And it is also Women's History Month. So I guess I wanted to start off with a poem by a woman author.
okay, that sounds wonderful.
Yes, and this is Cady Jax Knits. We're a knitting podcast. Normally we have Caitlin here with us, but we're in Madison, Wisconsin, and I am Jackie. This is my mother Sally, and our beloved Lily. Yeah, and so we also featuring, because today is March 14th, at the end of this video, I don't know if she's going to pop on or not, my sister Jamie, the pie goddess, made pie for us. So we have that segment at the last 20 minutes. And then Caitlin and I will be back with you for our next episode. So, to celebrate, thank you for joining us. And please, I'll just say the sort of things you're supposed to say. If you care to like and subscribe, hooray. We're on Instagram as Cady Jax Knits too. And we have a Patreon. And we just so appreciate your joining us here and your support. And we've been so thrilled. Last time we were on, we were able to have Donna and Karen. Donna's from Black Mountain Yarns. And now it's just fun because we have our regular guests, Lily and Sally.
Just happened to be
Yes.
around the house.
Exactly. So
Yes.
they wanted to podcast today, so we're having a little chance for them to come and visit you.
Yay.
Yay! So, anyways, the poem I have today, because we like to read poems, is by a Mexican poet, and her name is Veronica Volcao. And I found her in an anthology, and I love when they're bilingual editions. And this one's a bilingual edition, of course, Spanish and English. The Spanish version is, I don't speak Spanish. I don't have an accent in any sort. Los Angeles. That's me making up an accent.
It sounded lovely.
But it's called The Angels. And of course I start with lip gloss hair in my lip gloss. So I'm going to pull that out before I read. But anyways, this book is incredible. It's called Arcana and Other Poems, and she based it on the tarot. And so it's all the major arcana, and we've been having fun pulling a card and reading a poem to go with it. I'm not doing that today. We're not pulling a card. This one is just the second half of the book. And I thought this is what I turned to. This is what I was drawn toward. And again, we like to share, we like to have poetry on the podcast just to invite a little bit of the mystery and the joy of being.
Yes.
So this is The Angels. The angels come from the air like voice and words. They stay only an instant, then leave. Do they persist? Perhaps non-existent, although also eternal, in more tenuous places? Do they persist, perhaps non-existent, although also eternal, in more tenuous places? There are seeds in the earth, snails that slowly unfold their innards and grow through explosions from themselves, and each part is born from another part. Like an atlas, the earth is loaded on its own back, and it advances towers from its feet. Must be remembered, stone and brick are insomniac. The earth is not of oblivion, no, raising oneself up is a brave memory. Raising oneself up is a brave memory. The tree had to find sustenance in itself. The tiger amid blood, man in his care. But he dies suddenly when the air no longer dwells inside us. The tower crumbles amid stones if the ambition of a sky won't lift it. Where else is found the suddenness of the air, that which exists without causes, first mover, as by grace alone? One absorbs the angels. They come like a wind, and inhabit our flesh or thought. They stay an instant, then leave, but we remain as though burning with something infinitely luminous in our cores. Those who came and left us are not like angels. They pass through our lives and they labor. They leave us a story that works its light with difficulty.
That was beautiful.
I loved that. I mean, I could read that over and over. But I think Women's History Month has to be about the women who inspire us. And so we thought we'd start with that. And I think we have a major Women's History Month project that Sally would like to share right off the bat.
Oh, goodness.
So I'll turn it over to Sally.
Where to begin? Where to begin? Where's my little... these little props. It's my hexagon. I've talked about it before on the podcast, but I'm in this process of a hexagon obsession, a passion. As I posted yesterday on Instagram, and it was kind of tongue-in-cheek, but it was being in love, what it felt like to be in love, because I spotted from the kitchen table the beautiful pine tree stumps out there, and I decided to rush out with my mini quilts that I've been making with my hexagon squares and photograph them, and I was just taken by the spring coming, the bird song, the smell of the air, the beauty of the tree rings and how they've weathered the winter. And I've watched them over, this is the second year now, I've watched them evolve into this beautiful mossy color. But anyway, that's an aside from my hexagons, and you can see why I get obsessed with this. During COVID, we've all, as makers, have tried to find things to stitch or knit, or woodworkers are shaving beautiful wood to make tables. People are making with their hands, and it's our way of being in times of crisis and anxiety and, all this pandemic and political strife and, what's going on in our common world. And I turned, oddly enough, to a bag of vintage hexagons that I had gotten on a whim from an Etsy shop a couple of years ago. These are all hexagons from 1940 era fabrics, maybe some are a little older. And I took them out and I decided I'm just going to make some Christmas ornaments, something like that. So I started placing hexagons on top of fabric and, putting a hexagon on top of a piece of my fabric, quilting that, the handwork of that, and then framing them and binding them. And that seemed like a lovely idea for about maybe 15, 20 of them. Then I laid them out on the table, and both Lili and Jackie came over and said, "Oh, this is beautiful. What do you, are you doing something else with this? What's happening?" And of course, what was happening is I was taken by the, how this happens to us. I was taken completely, and I just could not stop, and I have not stopped yet. And I wish we could show you.
Well, we can.
Okay.
I could lift this up.
Yes. This is only, there are something like, I think the original, this is our old vintage your dad's bathtub, yes. And we fill it with knits, but this time we have it filled with hexagon squares. There are something like 440 so of these that were originally available to me. I have 306 of them completed to this state. these little finished blocks.
And maybe we can insert a video of them, so some close-ups.
Yes, okay. But anyway, so there they are. They are, and they've just kind of taken me away. And, you know, people have said in my, when I've been putting them out there on Instagram or whatever, well, what is your plan? Where are you going with this? And I was kind of sheepish about it because I really didn't have a plan. I was just finding that living this time with what we're all going through, making these squares on a daily basis gave me so much comfort, and it was a place to take the time to stitch in whatever was going on. And you know, a lot of it's been very joyful because we are very grateful that our pod has consisted of this family, and so we've been together in the house. It's just crazy when you think about it. But yeah, haven't we? I mean, it's just crazy. So anyway, yeah, we've been together for a while, and so the hexagon pile has grown and grown. But I also was struck when I was doing this that these little hexagons, you know, bless them. I mean, hexagons are taking a revitaling. They're taking another trip out in the sunlight now. There's all kinds of quilters doing hexagon quilts. A comeback.
Well, and I would just say Pom Pom Magazine's latest issue is all quilting.
Oh, is it? Okay. Yeah. So yeah, so it's really exploding. But what I think is very precious is we of course have so many more techniques now. You know, I mean, I haven't delved into the modern hexagons, but I bet any of you that have done that, you could tell us about the papers that are all hexagon shapes, and you just cut them out and you do your English piecing around it. And you know, there's the Olfa cutters, and there's just one thing after another. But this particular woman, and I'm assuming she's a woman, if she wasn't, he will forgive me, traced this crazy little, I don't know what this is, but this is a little cardboard template with George Washington. What possessed her to do that, I don't know. She might have liked George Washington a lot, but anyway, or maybe this is the only template that survived. But she would have had to trace around them, cut them out, and hers are very wonky, many of them, so they're imperfect, which I love.
So these are vintage. This is a bag of vintage hexagons that you purchased.
Right, yeah, and they have the character
from what era?
From the 1940s. And the 1940s in the world was World War II was going on. I mean, there was the whole upset of that. I've thought about that recently in terms of, you know, like everybody had somebody affected by it. I can remember my grandmother had two of her sons, one of her son-in-laws, off in war, and you couldn't, you know, you didn't hear from them like you can now. They didn't have cell phones with them. You waited for the letters to come, or the newsreels that you had to go to the movie theater to watch. So there just wasn't, you know, you could get, if anything horrible happened, you'd get that telegraph. But for the most part, they were over there and you didn't know what was happening. And so we don't know what's happening right now with what was going on in our world. We turned to stitching, and I think that's what these little hexagons were for her, I'm surmising. Resilience, and, you know, just turning to her beautiful, you know, these are probably a lot of clothing fabrics. Who knows, you know, what they source were, but I doubt that she had a lot of new yardage of fabric sitting around and just decided to idly sit down and make hexagons. So anyway, so her life is in these little blocks too, and it's kind
of anonymous woman, which many of us will become anonymous women.
Right. And
I mean, I'm not trying to.
No, I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. I mean, it's just so lovely to bring her work, which was amazing. I mean, her color sense, her lovely. She had them, you know, each one that had, you know, like if she had a block of them, she'd have them carefully stitched together so they didn't get separated. And, you know, so then how this thing came to us, I don't know. But anyway, so anyway, that's what's happening for me, is that it's not only now but it's the reassurance that no matter what's going on now, we just work through like we always have. We stick together, we love a lot, and we share and we pass it on. And that's what these hexagons are for me, because we don't need 400 hexagon blocks in our household. I mean, we have.
They're so pretty though.
So I'm going to make some things for us. We've saved, my family members are going in and taking out little piles that they'd like to put together. But the question was how to put them together. And I labored over that because when I had them up on my design wall, and I had every square inch of my design wall, which is a big wall in my room, floor to ceiling, they were incredible. I mean, that was like an art installation.
Yeah.
Remember, can you tell them what you thought when you came down?
Well, I saw them when we had just seen the movie Soul, and I looked at them and immediately thought of every single one. Like, none of them look exactly the same. Every single one's unique, and they look like the little souls of 1,000 humans. Like, it's just so beautiful the way every single one was different right next to each other. It was like faces. That's what I saw.
Yeah, and that was just such a beautiful vision because they feel like they have soul in them, because that's what, when I'm quilting, I'm putting my love. She has her love in here, and it's just the love that we have to share, all of us, for each other. And it's the thing that makes us human, and it's the things that will make us get through anything. So I had a struggle. How do I put them together? I've already made a big installation of Grandma Johnson's quilt, and I don't have room in the house to have a big one, so I decided to make them into smaller ones, put them out. I have several people I'm gifting to, and then still, they go on. This is a stack that doesn't even touch the numbers of blocks that I have. But what I wanted was to make something small enough, and these are going to be available in the Etsy shop. I've let Jeff.
What Etsy shop?
My Etsy, Sjerney Quilts.
How do you spell that?
Sally, Sally, Journey, Jerney, Quilts, Quilts. You can also find it in my Instagram through my Linktree bio.
And we'll link it in the show notes.
And we'll link it in the show notes. Anyway, in my Etsy shop, which is, there, and I have not put these in there, but shall very shortly as we speak. I decided to, I don't know, somebody in a Cady Jax, I think it was a Cady Jax viewer, had said she saw some kind of an installation where they used safety pins, and they had all these, I don't know if it was knitwear that had been safety pinned together. I vaguely remember this from maybe Vogue Knitting. I don't know. It was some kind of really cool thing. And I tucked that away, and I thought, I don't know if that would work. I would like to use webbing or sewing or something. But I did several things, and suddenly I decided to try every quilter has these curved quilter pins, safety pins, and just do that. I had quite a few of these little, they're curtain rings it's one of the ways that I display my quilts. And I just went like, oh my heavens, that's it. They are so flexible. They are they can be hung in a grouping. Do you see how those look just gorgeous together? They can be squares. I could pin these together if I wanted to.
2 across.
I could do 2 across, whatever, the pins make it, I can do anything. And, so
we have loved hanging quilts with negative space in them.
Yes, that's what
That's
I wanted.
The last.
That was
an
the thing.
older episode, but the negative space rather than the solid quilted surface. But they're all hand stitched.
Oh yeah, every single block is like, I have this vast. Believe me, I've been quilting since 1976.
Could you literally? I'm sorry to interrupt. You couldn't string them up because they don't go that direction. Like you could.
Well, the
string
backs are
6
gorgeous
of them up.
too. Yes, yeah.
But I'm saying like if you had
Well, that's up, you know, somebody else said, what are you going to do? And I said, well, think of them as Lego blocks. And it opens up your creative, you know, you person out there could do anything you want to too, because the thing is with the safety pins, that means that you have the freedom to turn them around and change them too, you know?
That's true.
It's like, you know, they can be, I think we have the ones behind us, which I don't know how we're going to do this, ladies.
Well, we'll just show some.
These are, yeah,
Taller.
they're taller. And so, I mean, they can be, you know how in houses we oftentimes have those narrow spaces? And these add so much color and fun in a narrow wall between a window and a door.
I love the idea of getting as many as there are people in your family.
That's an idea too. So, you know, so what I'm doing right now is I'm making bunches of the threes, because what I get to do now is the playing. Oh my God, the playing with the colors. I'm having, like, look at these. I mean, they go, you know, like this is a little vintage purple block on the back. I mean, the backs.
I mean, you're
Can
rather
you-
far away.
Okay. The backs are as fun as the fronts in some way, because they're just
Those
little.
are the backs.
And each one of the squares has a number on it, so that it's like 162 out of whatever the finished number
I
is.
love this one. I
So
love
that they all feel connected.
They all feel connected.
Oh, look at that one.
And you don't know which number you're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
Say that again. So 228, 287, and can't read a number on this one.
Well, some of them with the dark fabric, it's down here. It's 115.
Mm.
So what it's trying to do is say you're part of a community. You are part of this whole. And like this one, can you? That bottom one is like one of my absolute favorites. She only had about 6 of those. That particular kind of fabric. There was a larger print that cut up so beautifully.
So are you saying in your Etsy shop you'll sell the sets that you put together, but people could also buy individual ones?
Yeah, I haven't quite got. I think I am going to put some individual ones, because then people can, if they only want just a keepsake of this event, you know, like they can be part of the community. I don't want to make it too complicated for everyone, but you could buy just one, or I'm going to do 2. But I'm not so much.
Ooh, sorry.
You know, like you can always try to try to send me a note or something if you have a particular color, but for the most part, it's like whatever you get, you're gonna love it, because they are, you know, they're imperfect. Her squares are imperfect. My little, you know.
But you do have to say, like, maybe are you saying people would have no choice, or would they be able to say, this is the one I want?
Oh, they're going to be able to see in the Etsy shop. It'll be just like a regular listing. This will be Hexie number 2, for instance.
Okay, fine.
And then they can go order Hexie number 2. But look at these.
You can contact Sally with questions, because I won't be able to answer any of those questions.
Yeah.
But I love the idea. I love, Lily, what you said about these being souls, and this being this project. Oh my gosh, is this one gorgeous? To commemorate this time. This one is so beautiful.
Yeah,
oh my goodness.
I love those purples and yellow. That's one of my favorite colors. And then I also did an embellishment. I started doing like crosses on them, or X's, and more stitching.
I have to go.
You know, so some of them have a little bit more detail on them. As I've been putting them together, sometimes I can't resist and I start stitching on them, because I'm still in the obsession. So I'm not completed. I am in it wholeheartedly.
Okay.
Well, did you mention how she was probably obsessed with this?
She probably was. And
during the war?
Yeah. And what stopped her, you know? Like, you know, and I guess I have to say,
I love this one.
I am so grateful. I have had my 2nd dose of vaccine, and so I must be feeling lighter. That's part of the being in love part. Like, oh. And so this isn't even a third of what that is. That's like maybe a quarter of them, all the things that are put together. So the bathtub is a little bit deceptive on, it's so deep and it's so full, and I still have, like, lilies are set aside. And she's always welcome to dig in and get more too. I told her that, you know, and really there's so many. And Jackie.
Thanks. I totally don't care.
Sorry. Yeah.
So anyways, that's your obsession.
That's it. So
And-
Etsy, it'll be in the Etsy shop. I'm going to try to get maybe 10 of them in there today. You can look at them if you want. I've been doing many stories on Instagram, Sally Journey Quilts.
I don't mean to just have to connect it to my poem, but I guess I found that there was something about it, you know, about that whole idea of, I'll link the poem of like sustaining yourself, like this earthworm underground sustaining. So here we're gonna have some teen sounds in just a moment. Okay, thanks for sharing all that, Mom.
Oh, it was fun. And thank you for listening to me. I know, you know, people that are obsessed do go on, but I hope you enjoyed as much. You can't possibly enjoy it as much as I do, but
Yeah, but we have to make room
We
for
do.
our we don't know where it's going. That's
I know.
like the creative process. And
it kind of reminds me of all these beautiful, beautiful granny square blankets, scrap, you know, the knitters using scrap yarn or their what do you call those, advents, and making beautiful blankets and sweaters and all that with them.
I guess I'll just quick segue our
okay.
comfort project that we've sponsored if you want to know. I
Yes.
mean, you hear about it all the time, but you want to show yours before we...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is my half and half triangle
wrap,
wrap from
which
Purl
is a
Soho,
Mhm.
free pattern. And we are in the process of a cow. And so we're...
Oh, mother.
And you've made
Look at
so
yours.
much progress, like in the last month.
I have. I
Here's
finally
the
got...
salt and pepper and pink pop, right?
Right.
Look at that.
And, oh,
Sorry
you
for
know,
your face. but-
That is such a fun thing to have. I mean, I tell you, this is perfect. Any anxiety, picking up, watching television, just when you want to have the comfort. It's like a knitting pacifier.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. I mean, I feel like it settles me.
Yes.
I love it.
And that's going on all year, and
Mhm.
we conclude it at Rhinebeck Weekend 2021. I have one right here,
Oh, and
my
hers is
second one.
gorgeous.
Which-
I love that
Yeah,
one.
this one.
And they feel so good.
Yeah, and I love that we're all doing them in the house, and everybody's is a different gauge, feels a little different, but it's still just so exciting to have all those colors.
get
And is that yours, Lili?
That's Lily's.
You have a second one too, but you
I have
need
a
to
second
finish
one,
the
but
first
yeah,
one.
and I have a few other things that
You were thinking you might do something else.
I might. Ooh,
And I just
Don't.
released a
I
secret.
wasn't going to tell
What?
Jackie that.
What? Tell us. Go ahead.
No, but there's so many gorgeous fingering weight shawls that are two colors
Mm-hmm.
that, you know, I mean,
But it's going to be a pretty combo no matter what.
no matter what it is.
It's gonna be
It's,
so
you know
good.
what did it? Is
What?
your beautiful, that kind of bohemian shawl that you made with your oranges and dark, that blue and
The Anthe shawl.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, God, it's
Stroke knit.
so gorgeous.
Mm-hmm, that is beautiful.
And then I kind of like, oh, I want something like that.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
So we'll see.
Okay, fine. I'll relax.
I want all the things, but you know,
Yes. Okay.
But it came about through the half and half.
yes.
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 Those yarns in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. Well, and then Sally, do you want to just quick mention what you're wearing because it's
Because it's stunning.
quite the
Oh,
item.
Yes.
are you talking about?
What
Yes.
everything you're wearing.
Your whole
Oh.
look.
Oh, okay. Well, this is a kimono that was given to me by Junko Stewart. And if you're watching Junko, hello, darling. She was a teacher, a music teacher, just a young woman starting out with teaching when Joe, who just is a teenager now. What is he, 16? So it would have been 15. Is he 17? Okay, so it would have been 16 years ago, 15, 16 years ago, that he and I walked down to this little music class and she was teaching. And we just struck it off. You know, we had such a good time. She was such a lovely teacher and it made such a fun. It was a parent and kid class making music and it was so much fun. Anyway, so she had started talking to me about, we started talking about quilting and she gave me a whole bunch of her mother's vintage Japanese fabrics. Wow. I was stunned. And then she gave me this kimono, thinking that I would cut it up for fabric. which, you know, I actually have had, it is in several little pieces of quilt because I cut the arms off because, you know, it's a men's kimono. So it was perfect for me because it actually was big enough and it was way too big in the arms, so it gave me about that much, you know, fabric to play with. It was way too long. I cut that off so I have fabric to work with. And I just love it. I feel just wonderful in this because it was given so generously from such a sweet person. And I, you know, have been wearing it as a, you know, when I feel like feeling dressed up in the house, you know, with my black pants and stuff. So anyway, I've enjoyed that. And then Lili got me this beautiful little bird from Erin's window.
I wonder if I can take it off of you easily.
Yes, you can.
And show them. Like you take it off of you rather than me. I don't want to take your...
And it was very sweet that she got this for me because I have followed this woman's work, Erin's window.
There it is.
And I have many, many, many of her pieces. She's just a fabulous artist. So spiritual in the work that she does. I mean, she has dream images in her. I don't know how to describe it, but anyway, the bird says peaceful on the bottom of it, and I wear this a lot because Lili gave it to me and because it's from Erin's window. So thank you, darling.
You're welcome.
And, you know,
Do you know what I just thought of? That's
What?
so cute. Is that it says peaceful, and you and I are both type 9 peacemakers.
Oh, on the
Perfect.
Enneagram.
so
Yeah.
it's our little anthem. So from the two of us,
I
yes.
just think that's beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Well, should we turn it over to Lily's
Yes.
making?
Yes.
So, I'm going to get up and stand behind you to show you what I've finished.
Okay.
I finished this cardigan for my adopted aunt in Arizona. It's the Girlfriend's Cardigan by Anke Strick. And it's one strand of fingering and one strand of mohair. And if I lean in, you can maybe see the yarn I used and how it striped itself in garter.
Oh, and the sleeve and the
The halo.
hem details are so amazing.
Oh, yes. So there's the side hem. It's a faux seam, so it looks like it's been seamed together, but you're doing it in flat on circular needles. All one piece from this way all the way around to this side. And this took me like just a week under 2 months. So it was, I think because it's garter and that's like double the knitting because it's so dense.
Garter flat, which means you had to knit and purl.
Oh my
That-
goodness.
No, I didn't have to purl.
Oh, garter flat. Duh. The sleeves though, weren't they garter in the
sleeve-
round?
yeah,
That's
you're right.
Sorry, I knew there was some garter in the round.
You're totally right. I had to do the sleeves in the round, which I did have to purl for every other row. But I think it's really nice. It's really warm.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And it does normally have pockets. I mean, you have the option for pockets, but my aunt didn't want that. So I just have flat. But, ooh, since I'm showing it, it is interesting. The back, it splits and rides a little high on the neck. So down here you have some short rows so that it hangs flat at the bottom. Kinda
Nice.
cute.
Oh, it's very cute.
And the
Caitlin loves
shoes,
that
the
design.
you
Oh,
have matching.
shoes.
Yes, I mean you can probably
My
reach.
shoes do match.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's just sporting. They're really good.
And I was saying Caitlin loves that designer and has done multiple things of hers.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm.
And Catherine from Bed of Roses was making one. She probably still is, I think. Maybe she's finished.
Oh, I don't know. I
I'd
haven't
have to
seen it.
check in with her.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this
And-
has been my
then-
FO of the last. Oh yes, I did. I paired it with Melissa Jenkins earrings. They're the I think she calls them the fan earrings. I
They're
think.
beautiful. I have black ones like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
they're gorgeous. You picked out the lilac in the sweater.
Yeah, this is the lilac, and there's a bunch of purple in this yarn, so
Mm-hmm.
that's fun. And there's some green. It's hard to tell in here, but all of the light spots are like green.
And can I share the other thing that I think is? You can scoot over here.
Oh yeah.
The other thing that I think is so wonderful about this age group is that her beautiful top that she has
Oh, yes.
That was a score from Plato's
Oh.
Closet.
We love Plato's Closet.
We do. I mean, she's turned me on to this. It's so exciting. I mean, she just got this
It's a
little.
resale shop.
Yeah,
in
what
town.
was it? $1, $5, something like
This
that.
one was on like the sale rack, so it
It's
was like
so cute.
it was just a couple dollars.
Yeah.
But it was fun.
Hmm.
We like to go thrifting there.
And it's so perfect. I mean, it just.
And they thrift for Joey.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
we do.
really scored for
He's
him.
like, I'll go with you sometime.
Yeah, he is definitely fun to thrift for.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
there's my FO, and I'll link the pattern and everything. And I probably didn't talk about, but there's like I-cord everywhere. So that's what the faux seam looks like. It goes down the top of the. Where'd it go? It's back here. See how low it runs?
Just beautiful.
Right there. It feels
Yeah.
so far away. Maybe some close-up photos would be good when
Yeah.
on your Instagram.
Some detail photos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
And did I miss it? You did share what yarn you used.
Oh, I used a Lion brand Sock Ease variety, but I can't seem to find more of it on Amazon. But I did originally get it from Amazon. There are other colors. This is Cotton Candy, and then it's held with a Drops Kid Silk in a pink color. But I have it listed on Ravelry.
Nice.
Um,
Very nice.
Yeah, but if you see it in real life, it's like super glowy.
Mm-hmm.
It's got
Well, and I can see the halo on that.
Mhm.
There's quite a few people out there that love that halo. Well, you
Yes.
got a little pretty halo too.
Yes, I put on something to go with them. I mean, I'll just pop in what I'm wearing too.
Yeah.
Because it matches.
yeah, you should.
So this is the pink velvet, and this is Kraeo Bleeding Heart
That's
Surrey
beautiful.
held double, and then Kraeo Robin's Egg, and it is the quintessential spring sweater.
Mhm.
I think it's just
Oh,
glorious.
it's gorgeous.
The Andrea Mowry, and when you hold the Surrey double, it ends up having this tapestry feeling,
Mhm.
and there's beautiful. You can see the beautiful speckles, and then these earrings are from Pittsburgh Mercantile from Susie Korb, which I think are fabulous. With
Oh,
this.
I
are.
do too.
Yes, and I'm liking our pinks across from each
Mhm.
other.
Right?
Yeah.
And our dangly earrings.
Yes.
Yeah, she wants me to get my ears pierced.
I want to get my ears pierced again with you.
Oh.
I want to get another
Oh
one,
God.
and you to get yours pierced.
I have to get Sally to lean this way
Okay.
so she's
Yep.
straight in the frame.
All
There
right,
we go.
There we go.
And I feel better. Okay, Lily, this will blow your mind.
Yeah, this is something.
It's blowing my mind. You probably saw I was like knitting along the whole time that I was listening to them speak, and I'm working on my birthday sweater for later in April. But I couldn't help myself, and I thought it would take me a long time, so I started last week. And I ordered yarn from Firefly, from our friend Elisa, and I'm making Augustine number 8. I can't remember the designer right now, but I will list a link. And it's hard to tell at the moment.
I'll get a picture for us.
Okay, and then we can mention designer. So, here's the silhouette I have so far, and this is, when you see the picture, it'll make sense. This is the frill, the ruffle around the neckline and down the back. And, let's see, it's clearly a work in progress.
Oh, it is
And
just
we're on the
gorgeous.
needles.
And it's so gorgeous and light and
Here is.
So that's the finished sweater.
Mm-hmm.
And I am so stoked to be able to
so
wear it.
glorious.
It's gonna be the perfect spring sweater, and I just think for turning 20, it's a pretty grown-up sweater.
It
I
is.
like it a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and it'll actually probably surprise people to know that this is 1 strand fingering with 2 strands of mohair, and it's on like size. It's recommended on 13s and 15s, which is huge. That's a huge gauge. Like this, everything I have knitted so far is 1 skein of fingering, and I'm not even finished with it. I still have a lot left.
oh wow.
It's
And
the same
it's-
paprika that I had in my Soldatna.
Yeah,
Yes.
I just love.
gorgeous.
Like, can
The
you talk
details.
about the hem? Did you talk about the hem yet?
Oh yes, I
How
will.
beautiful. Okay, I'll stop.
Just since you mentioned paprika, I'm using Julie ASSELIN Leizu Fingering Simple for the fingering, and Anatolia for the mohair. both in the color Paprika.
I think the simple is single ply.
Yeah.
There's a fingering that's, twisted, and this is just single ply. It's even drapier.
Yeah, which I was glad I actually ordered it and then realized, should I have gone with the twisted or the single? And I think the single will make the ruffle drapier.
Do you want to show them those cakes? Because they're basically like
they are
radiant.
works of art.
Okay, and then I'll talk about the seam, or the
Okay.
hem. This is Anatolia. Oh my gosh, and you have to have
When
two.
Caitlin sees this, she's going to just swoon.
I know.
This is her favorite, isn't it?
Oh, and then here it is with its matching fingering, both in Paprika. It's so pretty, and in real life, this is like, it's like the color of my lips, and like a purpley orange with blues in there.
It's so
very,
beautiful.
very pretty. So, when it came down to the bottom of the sweater, my initial thought was I wanted to bind off in tubular because I think that looks super nice, but it's in stockinette, and I was like, Jackie, how do you even do tubular in stockinette? Because normally it's ribbing. And she was like, why don't you do a row of purl and then double whatever you had for the bottom of the sweater so that you can fold it under and sew it down. And that's what I did, and it took me a little bit of learning, but it was super fun.
Or you can get it in there. Okay.
Yeah, I should bring it up
So
closer.
pretty.
So that's what it looks like, and I went
From the inside.
yeah, from the inside. I went like up through the sweater into the seam and just back and forth, and I was learning about mythology at the time. And
what does the front look like of the hem? Because it's so pretty.
oh yeah, so here's what the hem looks like when it lays flat. And I love that purl row. It really defines the bottom.
Mm-hmm. Gorgeous.
More than, I just don't prefer a normal bind off. It looks, I think, more sophisticated to
Yes.
like define the bottom or make it look like it doesn't even end, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm super excited. So I think this will be done way before my birthday, but at least
You have an outfit.
yes, I do.
Did you put in your Ravelry page the YouTube video you used for the I-cord? Because Mom said you had to persevere a lot with the I-cord.
Yeah. So, this is, I'm not sure if I explained this, but so this is the front, and then the back has this huge opening, like the picture we showed, and around the neckline, you pick up, am I saying that right? Well, anyway, you did an I-cord, and once I did the I-cord, and I had the start of it over here, and the end of it on needles, I was needing to join it, and I was already super tired, and I wanted to figure it out before I went to bed so that I could use it the next day to do my homework, and I really couldn't figure it out on my own, just being so tired, and Sally was like, just look up a tutorial, and
So bossy.
and I did, and I think it looks amazing. Like, you can't even really see that it was joined. So I'll look in my YouTube history and list what I watched, but it was super easy the way that they explained it.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Oh, and look, I have a Melissa
Yeah, your
Jenkins
jewelry.
knitting jewelry, my stitch marker.
Those were her jumbos, wasn't
Yes.
it? I think she did a whole series of those.
Yeah, this is made for 19s. I'm on 10.5s right now.
It looks lovely.
Mm-hmm.
I did go down one needle size on the body of the sweater and half a needle size on the ribbing because it looked a little bit loose trying to get gauge. So I went down on the needles and then went up a size on the sweater to try and compensate.
Incredible. So good.
Yeah, she is fabulous.
So very, very excited. It's like when you put it on, you just feel so elegant.
Oh, it just looks beautiful on you, and it just, wow.
So romantic. Well, we can't wait to see it as a finished object.
Yes, me too.
And I see one more exciting surprise that happened this month before we go. You were the winner, Sally.
I was the winner at a giveaway from Espace Tricot, those lovely people up there in Canada. And, I was so excited. So it was 2 skeins of yarn of my choice and I went right away and got some of their Espace Tricot. I think this is Grace, yes, in, what's this color? Madeline. And
So
it's a
pretty.
fingering. It's just beautiful. I mean, it's like my colors. And then I got the beautiful, this is Halo to go with it. I've never knit with mohair before.
Oh, really?
Never. Yeah. So I'm being so inspired. Look how beautiful we are together.
I know.
Anyway, so there's lots of things vying for my attention here. And I'm not even gonna, I tried on Jackie's ranunculus, which was,
Oh, that's right.
it was so cute because she had left it in my room for some, probably, I don't know why, but anyway, I get no answer. It was just there. So I thought, wow, this looks really big. I'm gonna try this on. Now, it only came under here. And that was not a look for me. Not, I wasn't quite ready for that. But what was so super is that everything else about it just fit. I was like, wow, I love that. And so that's what these could be made into.
That'd be great.
No modification.
Yeah,
No
just
modification, and
making it
just make it longer and make the sleeves down to about here. Instead of up here, I'd make them a little
Just
bit
keep
longer.
going,
Yeah.
Lovely.
So you
Those
may
are
be
adorable.
hearing from me to get more yarn. You probably will. But I'm going to get a little bit away from the hexies once that gets launched, and then maybe I can cast on something.
Fantastic. In the meantime, you have your
I
own
have
little
my,
bit of pink.
Oh, I do. I have my own little bit of pink, and that is lovely.
Well, we
We
I
have
don't know.
pie to eat,
we have
don't we?
pie to eat, and we want to thank you for joining us for a little special Lili and Sally time.
Yeah.
And
thank you, Jackie.
yeah, and thank you, Jamie, for the pie.
And hello to Caitlin out there who is enjoying the Tennessee spring and keeps sending us beautiful pictures of flowers that we won't see for another month, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're coming though.
But they're coming.
It's in the air.
It's in the air, and we're fine with that.
And we're just wishing you joy and peace and safety and
Definitely.
health in this time, and just be so good to yourself.
And find your joys the way you can, because that's all we can do right now. And we have a light at the end of the tunnel.
Well, that's what I really loved about both of these projects that you two found for yourselves, is they are joy giving.
They are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's really what we need to be looking for at this time.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Bye,
everybody.
people.
There is pie. Oh, that's good.
Oh, does that look delicious? And I'm hungry.
Okay.
So here we go. This is lunch. No, I guess it's
Oh my
crazy. It's
goodness.
10 after 4 here.
Okay. I'm doing it.
Okay.
Mmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, which place should I take it from? Oh, this looks so good, Jamie. Kudos.
Happy Pie Day.
Happy Pie Day,
Well, hi,
everybody.
Jamie. What's your t-shirt say?
It says, keep calm and have some pie. So we thought we'd I thought I'd make some pie on Pie Day. I mean,
What's Pie Day?
Pie Day is 3.14, March 14th. So everybody likes to make and eat pie on Pie Day, even though it's a mathematical term and has nothing to do with actual pie. But who needs an excuse to eat pie?
What are we having? Because it's not like it's peach season or
It is
blueberry season. What
Yeah,
do we
it's-
have in the middle of March for pie?
bananas.
Docket.
Right? So banana cream pie is on the docket for today. Truth, I think we can make a banana cream pie in 30 minutes. This is like a pretty no fuss, no muss, no bake thing that I think most people would have some success with. So
Okay.
pretty excited.
What do they need?
What do they need? Well, so you're gonna need eggs, because we're making a custard. So you're gonna need, these are our Rockwell Ridge Farmer Cliff eggs here, just
beautiful.
magnificent and beautiful. And since you're making a custard, if you have really nice farm fresh eggs, it is great. You're gonna need some whole milk.
Okay.
So it is, I guess I can give it is 2.5 cups of whole milk. It is 5 egg yolks. So if you want to keep the whites for something else.
Angel food cake
or whatever. You're gonna need just granulated sugar, 2/3 cups. You're gonna need cornstarch, a quarter cup.
All right, cornstarch, and the main
Salt.
Well, and in our house, there's a debate about pie crust. What kind of pie crust?
Oh, well, graham cracker.
And
this is what I like best. Sally likes crust, and that adds extra work that I don't want to do today. So graham cracker crust, which I think is best with banana cream pie.
Okay. And I hope we have heavy cream to whip on top later.
We certainly do. This is what I have found to be the best whipped cream for the top of a pie.
Sassy Cow.
Sassy Cow heavy whipping cream.
Why? Why is it the best?
It's just got the best texture. Like it's a really magnificent, stiff, but not like butter. You know, it's just got a really nice.
Good to know.
Yeah, good colors.
And I interrupted you. You held up some vanilla.
Oh yes, this is the star. Besides the bananas.
Look at how dirty that is.
Yeah.
Why does it say Penzies on the bottom?
Because it's Penzies.
Yeah, but why did they write it like that, or did Mom?
Yeah, they wrote it like that.
Oh, it just looks like somebody's handwriting.
No,
okay.
it's not someone's handwriting. It's the Penzies double strength.
They're such a great company. I'm sure you all know about Penzies, but they're such a small business, great values. We love Penzies.
Right. If you have the imitation vanilla at home, like you might splurge and get, you know, I know it's not cheap anymore, the vanilla, but it adds
Global
such a nice
warming.
flavor. Yeah, I know.
Okay.
All right, so we're gonna just take a second and we'll get us set up for graham cracker crust. We on? Okay,
Yeah.
So we're gonna go ahead and make a graham cracker crust quick. Basically, I just take a package of graham crackers. I am going to just in the package smush them up as much as I can, hopefully without opening the package. And so I'm going to stop here and smush. Okay. And so we have a food processor. And if you have a food processor, that's actually faster. But I'm just doing this way so that anybody can do it. So you just smash them down until they're all the way smashed. Okay, so we're pretty much, once your graham crackers are all finished, then you add a 1/4 cup of granulated sugar, and then you're gonna take 5 tablespoons of butter, and you're going to melt that so that it's all the way melted, and then pour it into your cup. Mix in this, and then I'm going to pour in the melted butter. And then you just basically want to get all the dry stuff mixed in.
You're using a fork?
I'm using a fork, I sure am. Thank you, Jackie. This is, you know, honestly about as easy as it gets. So that looks pretty good, pretty pea size. And then what I'm gonna do is just dump it in my, this is, I believe, a 10-inch Pyrex pie plate. You can put it into whatever makes you happy. And then I use a measuring cup to just kind of move it around to start making. So can you get a, like the crust edge right here is really what you want to focus in on first, is just kind of smushing it around so that you build up that edge around the side. And it's just going to go up around the top. And does everybody want to watch me do this? I guess this is the part, right?
Well, what I was wondering is, like,
Yeah.
I would be inclined to put way more in than that and just, like, have a lot of crust.
There's a lot of crust here.
Okay, so.
There really is.
Okay.
you know, just let me get all the way around, because it doesn't go over, you can't have it go over the top because it's a crumbly sort of crust. So you just kind of keep coming around and working at it.
And this is not buttered, this is just...
This is buttered. Oh, the pan? No.
No, the pan or the dish. This cup thing.
No.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's just... I got a little falling off the edge. All right, so...
I see holes. Do you
see? I do see holes. Thanks for pointing those out. So this is where you just kind of, you know...
Sassy sister time
is always fun.
There's never a bad question. And so if I had a hole, I'd be worried. So I can't wait to see how you plug the hole.
And just sort of, you know, drag it along. And it's pretty forgiving because you're going to just put the custard right over the top. So the most important thing is sort of your side crust. Truth. That is just fine.
Because it's sort of a rustic thing.
It's a rustic thing.
So this little hole...
Doesn't matter.
Okay, fine. All right, great. Done.
Okay, so now it's time to start making the custard. So we're going to go ahead, get a, I don't even know what quart saucepan this is, but, you know, a good sized one. And so at first we're going to go ahead and add the cornstarch and the granulated sugar. So there's a nice.
What'd you do? I didn't even notice.
Just put cornstarch all over myself.
Oh,
you
nice.
know how that goes. I mean, you know, a little bit of cornstarch.
Yeah.
I'm even gonna like use a
a
level, which
that's
is
not level. That's curved. You have to use the other side if you want it to level.
I don't really care.
She's just showing off.
And just for you, so here you go. A 1/4 cup of cornstarch. Just dump that in. And a 2/3 cup granulated sugar. And you can just pop that in there, and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So this all just waits in your saucepan for a moment. And then I'm gonna take 2.5 cups of, this is my secret to making the custard, 2.5 cups of whole milk.
The whole milk is the secret?
No, the whole milk is not the secret. It is, I'm going to put this in the microwave for about 3 minutes.
Oh. Not
so it's boiling hot, but so that it is, it's not quite what you would want a hot chocolate at. So about 3 minutes for 2.5 cups. Okay. And then it's got a head start. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now.
Okay, what's going on?
All right, meanwhile, while the milk is in the microwave warming up, I'm going to separate 5, actually I do 6 eggs so that they don't, well, I'll show you in just a minute. So I usually just do the old separating. I just do them by hand. I think I've shown you this in the past, but, and we talked about this the last time. This little thing right here, this little tail thing. Yeah. Oh, I get that off so that your yolk doesn't have any of that on it, because you don't want any of that white stuff in your custard. You just don't want to necessarily pop your, if you're not using your yolks for anything else, or I mean your whites for anything else, it doesn't matter if it breaks. Sometimes they're a little tricky to get. Okay, so there's one. Okay, so this is where you get into the, just before you start putting heat on and all that, you want to make sure you've got everything set, because once you start this process, once the eggs go in, it's going to be a little time intense. That's the only tricky piece. So I have my 2.5 cups of whole milk heated up. I've got my egg yolks here separated. The reason why I put 6 egg yolks in is so that, honestly, in the very, you know, sort of tricky time when I'm adding it to the warm milk mixture, I don't have to scrape the bowl out to make sure that I have every last drop in there. So it's a little wasteful, but I find that it just allows me to sort of do my thing. And then I have, all right, so I'm gonna come over here. So this is where we have our sugar, cornstarch, and salt. and I'm gonna put the heat on medium, and I'm gonna take my whisk. I might wanna bring the camera on top here, and I'm just gonna kind of mix this around and let it get just a smidge warm. I know there's no liquid in here, and that's not a big deal. Then I'm gonna take my warm milk, and the reason why I do this is because it doesn't take as long then, honestly, to get it warmed up. And so just pour that in, and you're gonna stir this all around and wait for it to come to just a bare simmer. And so you wanna sort of keep stirring as you're going. Make sure that there is no stuff stuck along the sides. So you're gonna wanna scrape that out. So either using that, or at this point, I'll usually grab a spatula just to be able to get to the sides. So I've made that mistake on a number of occasions and missed all that stuff that likes to cling to the sides. And probably at this point, I'll just keep using a spatula because you don't want it to burn along the bottom. And so this takes...
What are we at? Medium heat?
We're at medium, high heat. Okay. So this takes 5 minutes to get it to a simmer. Okay. So at this point, you can tell that the milk mixture is getting just a little bit thicker, and you can hear just that little around the corners. And I am going to switch now back to my whisk. All right, once you get into the dropping the eggs in part, this is where you want to just be really particularly mindful. So I'm going to have my whisk and my egg bowl, and I'm going to go slowly because you want the eggs to mix in, but you don't want them to turn into scrambled eggs. And so you just keep keep whisking, and you're gonna start hearing some little bubbles. So if I stop, you'll start seeing the bubbles happen. You can already feel the custard, the consistency has moved itself into custard. And there is the magic. And now you can take it off the heat. And then you have 2 ingredients left. And so you want to put between 2 and 3 tablespoons of butter. I just kind of cube it a little bit so it melts easier. So you just drop that in there and fold it in so that it starts to melt. And then you want to put in one tablespoon of double strength vanilla. Penzeys, the bourbon vanilla.
If you're hearing anything in the background, that's Darth Vader.
Our dog. She's got a little breathing thing going on. Anyway, so you can see the beautiful, sort of vanilla mixing in, and then you just mix that.
Smells good.
Oh yeah. I mean, when you're using good vanilla, it's amazing. And you just swirl that around, and remember this is off the heat. And you just swirl it around until you can tell that the butter is melted and the vanilla is mixed in. Okay, so then you can just let that go. Now this next part you want to do, but you want to like kind of hustle, but you don't have to like super hustle. Okay. So for the banana cream pie, so this is basically a vanilla pudding that you put sliced bananas in. You can use, I like to eat bananas this way, but for pie, I actually prefer bananas that are just a little bit on the brown side. No bruising on the inside, but slightly brown. Because it's got a little bit more banana flavor. You can smell
when you open it.
When you open the banana, and then you just and you can do this as soon as you're done with the crust. You can slice, and I slice the bananas, you know, whatever. It doesn't really matter. They're going in your mouth. You'll notice I am sort of a, however you do it is great. And then you just sort of move them around, and you want to have a layer of bananas. So I'm going to need to, okay, so then I'm going to grab a second banana. So it usually takes about 1.5, and I'm not a fan of that, about 1.5 bananas on the bottom and 1.5 bananas in the middle. And of course our teen has come in, but that's all right. He's excited to see that we're making one of his very favorite pies here. So anyway, so you just kind of spread it around so that it's all around the bottom. A nice, I tend to be in favor of more bananas rather than less, because, right, you're making a banana cream pie. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, at this point you just take what's left and you just put it onto the rest of the bananas. And if you're really nice, you leave a little bit there to taste test. And then you just smooth it around the edges here. And then you grab some saran wrap, plastic wrap, whatever you've got there, and you put it over the top. And depending on the climate you're living in, you can put it out on the porch, you can put it in the refrigerator, you can just let it sit for just a little bit. It takes about 2, 3, 4 hours to cool in the refrigerator, and then you'll take your whipped cream and put it over the top. Okay, and then be sure that you get yourself a lick of the custard to make sure that it's good.
Thanks,
right.
Jamie. So yeah. Tonight we get to have banana cream pie
we get to have banana
with whipped cream. Very good. Thanks so much. Happy Pie Day, everybody.
Happy Pie Day.